Didn't I say blunt-headed booby to Valmouth?
Valmouth?
By way of Fleet. Father Fair, you were saying?
Evil, evil, evil. Nothing but slander, wickedness, and lies. N'est-ce pas, Father Collie?
What is your book, Father Collimani?
St. Stanislaus Kostka, my child.
Kostka? Oh, it sounds like one of those islands, those savage islands, where my darling son Dick stopped at once, just to write to his old mother.
Where is he now, Eliza?
Off the coast of Jamaica, his ship. It's that crazy shepherd David Took. The brother, you know, of that extraordinary girl.
Oh, yes.
How if the glorious Virgin required you to take this young fellow under your wing?
For the sake, I presume, of his soul.
Precisely.
But is he ripe?
Ripe?
I mean...
I trust we shall be in Valmouth before the shops close. I did require a ribbon. That's Madame Yajna-Valkia, the masseuse.
Those appliances of hers that she flaunts.
In massaging her cases, I'm told she has a trick of...
Indeed.
So poor Mary Wilkes's nurse told my maid.
When was Mrs. Wilkes 100?
Only last week.
Nowadays, around Valmouth, centenarians will soon be as common as peas.
The air. There's no air to compare to it.
Valmouth air. Valmouth air.
At the Strangers' Hotel, it seems there's not a single vacant bed. Victor Vatt, the delicate paysagiste, came yesterday, and Lady Pavel de Pont-Juste was to arrive today.
I was her bridesmaid many years ago, and she was no girl then.
She stands, I fear, poor thing, now, for something younger than she looks.
Fine, thoroughfare.
Five, Father?
Ah, la jeunesse, hélas, n'a qu'un temps.
Oh, but the air of Valmouth.
Valmouth by Sandy Wilson, based on the novel by Ronald Firbank, with Elisabeth Welch as Mrs. Yajna-Valkia, Fenella Fielding as Lady Pavel de Pont-Juste, Doris Hare as Granny Took, Betty Hardy as Mrs. Thoroughfare, Maxine Audley as Mrs. Hurstpierpoint, Aubrey Woods as Cardinal Pirelli, Elaine Delmar as Neary Esther, Patsy Rowlands as Thetis Took, and Marcia Ashton as Sister Ecclesia. Valmouth.
Valmouth, there's nowhere to compare with the air of Valmouth. There's no light that's as bright as the light of Valmouth. On the banks of the Val, circled by the friendly hills, sheltered by the sky, safe are we from worldly ills, time that kills passes us by. In Valmouth, every care seems to fade in the air of Valmouth. There's a balm to be found in the calm of Valmouth. On the banks of the Val, come and spend a while with us, and learn to laugh and smile with us. And when you leave, it's strange as it seems, Valmouth stays in your feet.
Welcome back to Valmouth, Lady Pavel.
Thank you, Sir Victor.
And how is London?
Oh, London is simply exhausting. It leaves you more dead than alive. But now that I'm once more in Valmouth, already I start to revive. Society life is so tiring. It leaves you quite rinsed out and wrung. But now that I'm once more in Valmouth, I'm suddenly wonderfully young.
It's the air, it's the air, it's the beautiful Valmouth air.
Well, whatever it is, it's doing wonders for me.
Valmouth, there's no air to compare with the air of Valmouth. of worldly ills, time that kills passes us by. In Valmouth, every care seems to fade in the air. Oh, Valmouth! There's a balm to be found in the calm of Valmouth.
On the banks of the Bell,
Come and spend a while with us, and learn to laugh and smile with us, like when you live, it's strange as it seems. Valmouth stays in your
Nick! Attendance at the haberdasher's in half an hour's time. Not a moment later.
Eulalia, Elisabeth.
Oh, fabulous.
So you have arrived safely. How good to see you again.
And how well you look. Ah, to be continually beautiful like you, dear. How I wish I could.
Yet I date my old age from the day I took the lift first at your feet.
Oh, dear father, forgive me. Lady Fabula de Panzoost, Father Collimani.
Dominus vobiscum.
How charming! So, you lost Père Ernest, Eulalia.
Alas, you preferred flitting about the world like you.
I go about, as other fools, in quest of pleasure, and I usually find tedium.
Oh, we must try and help you avoid it whilst you are in Valmouth. Will you dine at Hare tomorrow evening?
I am all anticipation. Good evening. Good evening. It certainly is a most entrancing evening. This early Valmouth spring is such a pleasure for me, although I fear it's not a time of leisure for me. For spring can be a source of such insidious ills, like nervous strains and stomach pains and liverish chills. So I hope that you will bear with me in case the point applies, if I take this opportunity to advertise. Ladies, if you are suffering from any of the following disorders, neuritis, fibrositis, colitis or arthritis, lumbago or a little touch of gout, bronchitis, hepatitis, cystitis or phlebitis, or just a tendency to getting stout, or any kindred ailment that this flesh of ours is heir to, then, ladies, I'd be happy to enroll you if you'd care to undertake a course of me for my new inclusive fee. Here's my card.
Oh, thank you.
For me. Mrs. Yajnavalkya, that's the most bizarre of names. Can she really do such wonders as she claims? I'd be happy to prove it, my lady, to you. We shall see. But tell me, Mrs. Yajnavalkya, what is your secret? My secret? Why, it isn't any secret. It's a well-known fact that I've got magic fingers. Where I touch, the magic lingers, and those evil spirits fly. If all your pain and misery you'd banish, then come to me, and with a touch I'll make them vanish. With my magic digits I can soothe your aches and fidgets, and I'll safely prophesy. If you care to try me, you will find I'm speaking true, for I've got magic fingers. Let my magic fingers work their magic spell on you. Ladies, I am also an expert in cosmetics, dietetics, obstetrics and emetics, and other rather esoteric skills. And I possess prescriptions of numerous descriptions of bombs and balsams, lozenges and pills. And if you've
any problem that requires a special knowledge. I've also a diploma from an Eastern ladies' college that entitles me to sell aphrodisiacs as well. Here's my card. I've got magic fingers, where I touch the magic lingers, and those evil spirits fly. If all your pain and misery you'd banish, then come to me, and with a touch I'll make them vanish. If my magic digits, I can soothe your aches and fidgets, and I'll safely prophesy. If you care to try me, you'll find I'm speaking true. For I've got magic fingers, let my magic fingers work their magic spell on you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Come, Elisabeth. Tomorrow evening, Parvula. 8-ish. Just the three of us. Oh, and Father Collie, of course.
Thank you.
Dear Father.
Too much bliss.
Here, boy. Here. A dog.
Oh. David? Is that you, David?
Hi, Granny.
Any orders?
Mrs. Yard wants a boiler. Or an extra butter at the hotel.
Be sure to see the prices, Missy. Butter and eggs have gone up. While you're at the hotel, you might propose a pair of pigeons or two to the cook.
Yeah, I will.
Oh,
Good evening, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you could tell me the way to the cathedral.
The cathedral? Oh, ain't no cathedral round these parts, so far as I know. But that'd be St. Veronica's.
St. Veronica's? How sweet. Such a helpful girl. Thank you, good fellow.
Oh, no trouble, ma'am. No trouble at all.
Oh. Quel joli garçon. Quite as Baron said of Doris. Un cupidon déchaîné. Such a build. And such a voice. He must be mine. In my manner. In my way. I always told my dear late lord I could love a shepherd. Peace be to his soul.
Feathers, fetch out my chair. It's time for Mrs. Yash to come and give me a massage. Oh, if only I could get about the place like once I did.
Maybe with warmer weather here you will. This very night the old sweetbriar tree came out. The old sweetbriar. None of us thought it could.
Don't you let me hear you talk of thinking. More feather-brained girl than never lived.
I often think at any rate I was born for something more brilliant than waiting on you.
Impudent baggage. Make ready my thingamies. Mrs. Yard is coming. Hazy-ho. It's good to be still alive.
And how do you find yourself, Mrs. Took?
Oh, to be open with you, Mrs. Yard, I feel today as if all my joints want soiling.
Oh, it will pass. I shall not let you slip through my fingers. Oh, no. Your life with me is so precious.
Oh, I can't hope to last very much longer, Mrs. Yash. Anyway, I suppose.
That is for me to say. How is your young granddaughter's erotomania, Mrs. Took? Does it increase?
God knows, Mrs. Yash, what it does.
We Eastern women never take love serious. And why is this, Mrs. Took? Because it is so serious.
Loving the yeast, Mrs. Yarge, I presume, is only feasible indoors.
Nobody bothers Mrs. Took. Common couples with no place else often go into the jungle.
Those cotton winds of yours must be a part of cotton.
Our cutting winds? It is you who have the cutting winds. It is not us. Oh, no, 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 no. In the east, it is joy, heat.
Then where do those wicked blasts come from?
Never you mind now, Mrs. Took, but just cross those 2 dear knees of yours and do what I bid you. Oh, Allah ilaha. I shall have you soon up and about again, I hope, and then you shall visit me. Oh, you must come and see my blossoming acacia tree. We'll sit and talk and watch the blossoms fall. And later on you'll taste my peaches and my cherries. And when the winter comes, you'll see my holly berries. Oh, holly is my favorite of them all.
Holly, Mrs. Yarge?
Yes, holly, Mrs. Took. For every time I see the holly on the bough, I think of my late husband and how that beard of his would prickle just like the holly on the bough.
Your late husband, Mrs. Yarge?
That's right, my dear.
Now, what did you tell me his name was again, my dear?
His name was Mustafa. What a man was he. Mustafa was all the world to me. His kisses were like wine from the finest vine. And when he commenced caressing, Lordy, I don't mind confessing, paradise was mine. Can you imagine? Mustafa, how my cup would fill if my beloved Mustafa were with me still. He had a way of singing songs to me whenever I was feeling sad. And when he told me you belongs to me, I tell him, honey, I'm so glad. He had a way of making love to me I've never known before or since. That man to me was a lion. Yes, he was a prince.
Oh, a prince, Mrs. Yarge. Oh, that's royalty, my dear.
His name was Mustafa. How my soul would thrive if my beloved Mustafa were still alive. We're still alive. Of course, he was a devil.
Howsomever. Thaddeus, where you off to so consequential?
just out.
That enlarged heart of hers should be seen to, Mrs. Took. Do persuade her now to try my sitz baths. I sell 12 tickets very cheap, 1 dozen for only 5 shillings.
Oh, that won't cure her of her idiocy.
What did you say, pray, dear lady?
She thinks she's going to marry young Dick Thoroughfare.
And become mistress of Hare Hatch? Oh, she thinks that, do she?
David,
Yes, Granny.
where's your sister gone to?
Feathers?
Yes, I'd be wanting my supper.
Oh, she's likely down by the river.
River? What takes her there, may I ask?
Who knows? I'll fetch her home.
And now, Mrs. Took, let us go to your bedroom, and I shall administer your vibro.
Oh, Mrs. Yarrett.
Feathers! Feathers, where be ye? Feathers!
Hello?
Come on now!
I shan't.
Come on, Feathers!
I won't. I will not.
You'll catch your death.
What of it?
Feathers, you've been standing in the river again.
What if I have?
What do you stand there for?
Well, when the tide flows up from Spadder Bay, I pretend it binds me to the sea, where my sweetheart is, my betrothed.
Betrothed? You come Dick?
Who else?
Ah, you're a simple one, you are.
Me?
Yes, you.
Don't be horrid, David, to me. You mustn't be. It's bad enough quite without, what with Granny.
She'll not be here for long.
I don't think she'll die just yet.
It's a cruel climate.
Aye, cruel.
Now you'd best come home. Granny's in a regular fury with thee.
Give me just a few minutes, then I'll come. I promise.
All right. Deuce, boy! Deuce!
I loved a man and he sailed away. He left me here and away he's gone. My heart is there in the ship he's on. So here I sit at the end of day, to watch the tide as it flows to sea, and ask the waves where my love can be. He promised me so faithfully that I would be his wife. If he should break his oath, I'll take my life. I loved a man and he sailed away. He sailed away on the ocean main, and here I wait till he comes again.
Upon my word, it is a deadly awful place.
With the air presumptive so much away, it's bound to be slow and quiet.
Why the captain should be heir of Hare I never could make out.
Mr. Dick's dead father, Admiral Thoroughfare, was a close relative of Mrs. Hurst. Indeed, they might have married, only he was too poor, and things fell out otherwise. Here's Lady de Pontzout's cab. Run and meet her. Be sharp about it.
Right, Mr. Fiennes.
Please tell the cabby to return for me at 10 o'clock.
Very well, m'lady.
Good evening, Fiennes. Nobody about?
The mistress, I presume, is with the scourge.
Poor Eulalia. Still mortifying the flesh at her age. Tell me, Fiennes, is it true that she sometimes assumes spiked garters?
As to that, milady, I couldn't say. But Fowler reports that she wears a bag of holly leaves pinned to the lining of her gown. Will that be all, milady?
Yes, thank you, Fiennes.
Thank you, milady.
As for me, it would take more than a scourge to keep my flesh in check. Oh, the very thought of that shepherd sets me in a ferment. Tomorrow I shall tax the negress.
Fabula, welcome once more to Hare.
Why, Elisabeth, tonight you look positively jeune fille.
I always say that there is no joy like the coolness of a white dress after the sweetness of confession.
What news do you have from Dick?
No letters lately, naughty boy, but a crate of some wonderful etherized flowers came from him this afternoon from Ceylon.
Even at Umanton, 13 of the new hybrids this year are quite too perfect.
Oh, Eulalia and I often speak of the wondrous orchids at Umanton Tower.
We are very proud of a rose-lipped one with a lilac beard.
A lilac what?
Eulalia!
Is it Sodom?
Goodness, no.
Because Father Collie won't hear of it ever before dessert.
How right.
He seems to think it quite soon enough. Ah, dearest Pavula, how jolly to have you with us again. Was it you, Betty, before office, I heard amusing yourself in Our Lady?
I am sure, Eulalia, I forget.
After the Sixtine Chapel, I somehow think your chapel is the one I prefer.
You dear you. Oh, you should have been with us Easter Day. Our little basilica was a veritable bower of love.
Have you any more new relics?
Only the tooth of St. Autumnal Mary's, for which I've had my tiara stones turned into a reliquary.
Dinner is served.
Thank you, Fiennes. Shall we?
I adore dining en petit comité.
Where can Father be?
While we are alone, you must tell me all the gossip of Valmouth.
Well, there's not much, I fear, to tell. If I recollect, the cattle show was our last gaiety.
You're pathetic. Curious oxen. It's a breed you don't see everywhere. My husband, my Hare, tried him in the park at Umanton Towers, but it didn't do.
No, I suppose the town is full of imaginary invalids come to rule.
My dear, one sees nothing else. So many horrid Parliament men come here apparently purely to bath.
Men, they're always there, dear, aren't they? As the Russians say.
Nowadays, a man, to me, somehow, he's something so wildly strange.
Still, some men are ultra-womanly, and they're the kind I love.
I suppose that none but those whose courage is unquestionable can venture to be effeminate.
It may be so.
It was only in wartime, was it, that the Spartans were accustomed to put on perfumes or to crimp their beards?
My dear, how your mind seems to dwell upon beards.
Beards. A beard is a thing I adore. But a beard that is really a beard, one just doesn't see anymore.
Moustaches. That's what I chiefly miss. For moustachios add quelque chose to a kiss.
I was always keen on whiskers, but I found in the last resort, if you held a man by the whiskers, he was well and truly caught.
But we're sad to say that the men today are a dull, clean-shaven lot. And the men we loved have all passed on. Like the world we knew, they are dead and gone. And we sometimes wonder what to do with the world we've got. Elizabeth, it only seems like yesterday when life was like a song.
And all the girls were pretty.
And all the men were strong. The world appeared a better place, where nothing could go wrong.
For all the girls were pretty.
And all the men were strong.
The sun was always shining in a bright blue sky above. And we were always frantically, romantically in love.
That other time, that other place is where we all belong.
Where all the girls were pretty.
And all the men were strong. Do you remember Cuckoo Fooks?
Flossie St. Vincent and Bimbo Stoops.
Twirly Rogers and Bushy Ames. They all of them had such expressive names.
And the Duke of Crewe on a great black nag, and hunting pink with the Valmouth drag.
And Monkey Trotter in Guardsman's rig, doing a rather suggestive jig.
And Princess Barra, who came to stay and changed her tiara
twice a day.
And Laura Van Hoof with that purple hair, who once ran nude through the market square.
And Bungie Sussex, the Earl, I mean, who used old brandy as brilliant tea.
And Violet Log, who eloped with a sheik. And was always drunk during Holy Week.
How fine they were.
How sublime they were.
How great and grand in their prime they were.
They were bold and beautiful, brave and true. And it goes without saying that we were too. The sun was always shining in a bright blue sky above. And we were always frantically, romantically in love. That other time, that other place is where we all belong. Where all the girls were pretty and all the men were strong. Where all the girls were pretty and all the men are there. The men, yes, all the men were.
With a Dominus vobiscum.
Good evening, ladies. Nomine Pater Filius Spiritus Sancti, Amen.
Moreover, Beaujolais, Clos Vauxhall, or Chateau Thierry, my lady?
If only not to be too like everyone else, mon ami, you shall give me some of each.
Yes, lady.
Apropos, His Eminence writes that he may be visiting this country before too long.
The dear Cardinal, he must stay here with us.
Which Cardinal do you speak of?
Why, Cardinal Pirelli, of course. He owes, they say, to women at least half of his red hat.
Oh, thoroughfare.
Oh.
What is it, Parvula?
Through the window there, I thought I saw a figure in nun's habit dancing between the cypresses.
Ah, that will be Sister Ecclesia. She comes from the convent of Arimathea at Sodbury.
So, but why is she dancing?
She was always over-talkative, so the abbess imposed upon her a vow of silence. She is only allowed to speak 3 times a year.
Poor creature.
The rest of the time she expresses herself in movement, even dancing. Oh, Parvula, you are tasting nothing. For my sake, allow Dr. D of Valmouth to systematically overhaul you.
Dr. D? To tell the truth, I was thinking of visiting Mrs. Yajnavalkya.
Really, Parvula? When?
Tomorrow, perhaps.
Shall we take coffee in the drawing room?
after your super excellent champagne, I feel one ought to go with bared feet in pilgrimage to your chapel and kindle a wax light or two.
My dear, I believe you've latent proclivities.
I? Never.
Are you coming, Elizabeth?
Yeah, in one moment, Celia. I must speak to Father first.
Don't, dear, desert us.
Do you think, Father, she suspects?
Oh, rest assured, my poor child. Your confession to me tonight exceeds belief.
Oh, my darling son, how could you?
Oh, my poor child, try not to fret.
It makes one belch, Father. Belch.
They're joined irremediably, I understand.
From what he writes, I conclude the worst.
Won't you show me what he says?
The card is covered, I fear, by the chemicals that were in the crate, gummed to the stem, as it was, of a nauseating lily.
Decipher the thing, then, to me, if you will.
Yes, very well. These are the native wild flowers of my betrothed bride's country. Forgive us and bless us, Mother. 10,000 loves to you all.
Oh, wretched boy.
Oh, Father.
That ever any black woman should perform the honours at Hare.
Black? Well, if it comes to that, Eulalia herself tonight is more than grubby.
Good afternoon. I have an appointment.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Will you come in?
Thank you.
Is it for the douche, ma'am, or shall I start the steam?
Not on my account.
Very well, ma'am.
Was is jouw boer? Didactisch. Kataka mocha? Mowadi. Jelly.
A breeze about that jelly.
Have I not the satisfaction of addressing my Lady de Panzoust?
I believe you do chiropody.
That is a speciality of the house. What is there so important? Oh, when I consider the foot, it bears the burden of 10,000 treasures. Cra.
Perhaps sometimes it carries charms.
That is my little niece, Neriesta.
She sounds as if she were in love.
In love?
I sometimes see call here a young, tall man with his dog.
He called only to fetch the fowls that flit across to my acacia tree from the farm.
Is that all?
He's awfully choice, my lady.
I suppose he is.
Oh, yes, he's awfully, awfully choice. And I can tell you his physique is like the finest type of Greek is, and there's honey in the murmur of his voice. Oh, yes, he's choice, my lady.
Well, one knows he is.
He's quite enough to make my lady's heart rejoice. And I can promise you that man is just as brown and strong as Pan is. In other words, my lady, he's choice.
Then perhaps you could arrange a rendezvous for me, somewhere safe.
I have the very spot in mind. You can meet beneath my blossoming acacia tree, and a safer place you couldn't hope to find. The shepherd boy I'll undertake to bring to you, say between the hours of 3 o'clock and 4. And my little Neri I shall tell to sing to you some sweet love song or a passage from Tagore. Ah, you should hear her recitations from Tagore.
But I shouldn't.
He's awfully choice, my lady.
No, I shouldn't.
So very choice, my lady.
I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. But I shall. Just once more. Though I'm audacious and I know it, I should like to chuck my bonnet just as far as I can throw it. And I want to fascinate another man, just to show my friends and enemies I can. Just once more, before I have to throw the sponge in, I would like to cast convention to the winds of heaven and plunge into a love affair with everything on plus, which will probably provide my coup de grace. Oh, the urge that still manages to emerge from this all too willing flesh that I inhabit. Is there something wrong with me if I now appear to be just a still seductive, non-productive rabbit? Though I swore when my late husband puffed his soul out, I would try to stop the beast in me from throwing self-control out. Now I find myself confronted with a lad, though he mayn't compare with many that I've had. I'm unable to combat the need to add to my score. Just one more.
And so you shall, my lady, so you shall, beneath my blossoming acacia tree.
Oh, I was thinking of that merely as a preliminary. I should prefer the climax to occur indoors. Just once more. I want to put my déshabillé on, while I flutter around the room like some désorienté papillon, slapping on strategic rouge and spraying scent, where so much expensive scent already went. Just once more, ere Father Time applies his sickle, I would like to prove myself in one celestial slap and tickle, which will probably result in Lord knows what, but at least I'll use the assets I've still got, and I'm game for whatever he cares to name, for my motto's always been no harm in trying, though it's likely, I suppose, I may not survive the throes. Still I'll sink with my libido high and flying, and I'm sure that if the fates decide to claim me, while a few may sing my praise, there'll be a multitude to blame me. But whatever they may say, they can't deny that it must have been a lovely way to die. And upon my tombstone, let them carve that I cried encore. Just once. Too often.
Course, I make you easy terms.
Massage does not appeal to me. And otherwise, thank you, I'm perfectly well.
And I also will endeavour to have a few fugitive fowls over from the farm, and you and your beloved shall attain nirvana.
Nirvana?
Leave it to me, and you and he shall come together.
Deuce! Hey, Deucey boy!
Oh.
Come on, Deuce! Come now!
He's awfully choice.
Your fee. That is correct, I believe.
He's awfully choice.
C'est un assez beau garçon.
Mrs. Dick Thoroughfare. Mrs. Captain Richard Thoroughfare of Hare Hatch House with her kite.
Here am I, with arms that ache for him. Why they're aching, he ought to know. Every night I lie awake for him. What then can make him come so slow? All day long I sit and sigh for him. I'm still still sighing when lights are low. Don't he know I'd gladly die for him? What then can make him come so slow? What is he doing? What is he saying? Is he on dry land or sailing the sea? If he's my true love, why is he delaying to come back home to me? Oh, why then don't he come back home to me? Well, he knows that he means more to me, more than mortals can ever show. When we kissed goodbye, he swore to me we'd be together soon. But what then can make him come so slow?
The awful vividness of the lightning!
Let us go, shall we both, and confess?
My dear, in my opinion, the lightning's so much more ghastly through the stained glass window.
Well, I intend to pray.
Who knows but our prayers may meet? Oh, love me even as I do thee, and I will land thee a fish. I will hook thee a heretic, a thoroughgoing infidel, and so I will make thee retribution for the follies of my youth. Fowler!
Yes, ma'am?
Is the worst of the storm over yet, Fowler, do you consider?
Now that the wind has deprived the statues of their fig leaves, ma'am, I can hardly bear to look out.
Unless the summer quickly mends, the centenarian's ball must be postponed. Holy Virgin! Lift the lid of the long casket and pick me a relic.
Anyone in particular, ma'am?
No, but not a leg bone, mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, dear Lord, I promise faithfully a ripe heretic. My little kitchen maid, perhaps. I could certainly force her. Or, yes, I'm sure she has proclivities. She could be shaken. Lady Parvula.
Your relic, ma'am.
Ah.
Tea time, Eulalia.
Oh, very well. Thank you, Fowler, that will be all.
Thank you, ma'am.
I did not expect you to finish your prayers so soon, Elisabeth. Look, someone with a kite is on our lawn.
No.
In the old days, sailing a kite heavenwards was my utmost felicity.
This is no Christian and her kite, Eulalia.
No Christian, Elisabeth?
It's a savage.
O Lord, I thank thee. Thou hast sent me an infidel.
I never saw the countryside so green. It looks as if the rain has washed it clean. And everything I see is like a friend to me, and not a blessed mortal on the scene. I've got the clover that grows in the meadow, and the clouds flying by above, and a nearby stream where the fishes gleam. What do I want with love? I've got the song of the lark in the morning, and the coo of the turtle dove. I have heard the tale of the nightingale. What do I want with love? What fools they be, whose hearts are never free. I'm glad I'm me, with a heart of my own, as I walk alone through the clover that grows in the meadow, with the clouds flying by above. There is naught I miss when I have all this. So what do I want with love?
Oh, Mr. Took, I've been on the outskirts of town visiting a ruined stomach. I should be obliged, Mr. Took, if you could one day come to my garden bringing some manure for my little grape house. Manure is what my vine really needs.
I could come tomorrow, maybe.
Oh, I would be that grateful. And so, let me tell you, would a certain lady.
A lady?
Of aristocratic lineage.
How much time for ladies, Mrs. Yard?
Why, Mr. Took, with your assets, you should make time. Otherwise, they'll all go to waste.
Well, I'll see.
You will see, and you won't, I promise you, regret it. Oh, Allah, ilaha. If I cannot throw them both together, be it only out of doors, I will be obliged to quench love's fever with a sedative.
With the clover that grows in the meadow, and the clouds flying by above, there is naught I miss when I have all this. So what do I want with love?
Mrs. Yard? Is that you, Mrs. Yard?
Why, Mrs. Took, that hat is charming, delicious.
You think so, then? It's for the ball tonight, if I ever manage to arrive there.
But of course you shall. Your grandson, Mrs. Took, seems insensitive to women. I think, my dear, he never has been truly enmeshed.
He's unimpressionable, I'm thankful to say.
I know of one lady who would like to impress him. Perhaps tonight at the ball I could confront him with her.
Oh, the ball. Tomorrow I'll be as stiff as a rusty hinge.
Oh, not while you're one of my clients, dear Mrs. Took.
You old black bogey. What should I do without you? Oh, it's an odd thing, Mrs. Yard, to be dependent on a wench who spends half her time in the river. If I was a fish, I'd snap at her legs. Have you been crying again, fellas?
What if I have?
You'll not die in an old skin if you fretted so, Feathers girl, that you won't.
What's the use of living in any case? Unless you're happy.
Oh, no, be out tonight at the ball. We'll both have a bit of a fling.
There is nothing so exhilarating as a social occasion, and that's what I always say. Anytime they ask me out to a dinner or a rout, I accept with great alacrity. For perhaps you may have heard, I am quite a flighty bird, and an evening out appeals to me. What's the reason, do you ask me? that I thus react? Well, the reason, if you ask me, is the simple fact that I like dressing up for an evening ball or a social brawl in a fancy shawl or a silly frilly frock. And my big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock. I like dressing up in my finest clothes with my beads and bows and a scarlet rose in my silly frilly frock. And my big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock. I stick a purple or blue feather or two in my hair. What do I care if the people stare? Then from my jewelry case every space I just fill till I am glittering fit to kill. Oh, the thrill when I start dressing up, though my corsets creak, I am on a peak, well I feel so chic in my silly frilly frock. And my big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, 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 knick-a-knack-a-knock.
She likes dressing up for an evening ball or a social brawl in a fancy shawl and a silly frilly frock. And her big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock.
She likes dressing up in her finest clothes with her beads and bows and scarlet rose in a silly frilly frock. And the big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock, knick-a-knack-a-knock.
I stick a purple or blue feather or two in my hair. What do I care if the people stare? Then from my jewelry case every space I just fill till I am glittering fit to kill. Oh, the thrill when I start dressing up, though my corsets creak, I am on a peak, cause I feel so chic in my silly pretty frock. And the big best shoes go knick-a-knack-a-knock, 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 knick-a-knack-a-knock. Knock, knock. It is time for us to enter Neri, to enter the palace. Oh. Princess Neri Esther.
Mrs. Yarch.
Yes, my lady?
Mr. Duke is coming this way. Speak to him, do, while I withdraw beyond the privet.
Run away, little Neri, my child, and mingle with the throng. Babies are so tender and so frail.
Very well.
Well, well, well.
What?
What do you there, so unsocial? Come on now and hitch your wagon to a star.
Well, it's my wagon where I choose.
Up with those dear shafts. You marry her and be a lord.
Be off, don't pester me.
Come on now.
Belly, not I.
Oh, must I pull you?
Don't make me a scene, because my nerves can't stand it.
Was there ever a eunuch like you?
Why does she want to come bothering me?
I have never heard of such contempt of the peerage.
Here's Granny.
Ah, and where are you off to, Mrs. Took?
To make a bowl pot, Mrs. Yarch.
What do you call a bowl pot, Mrs. Took?
A posy, Mrs. Yarch.
And what's a posy, Mrs. Took?
A bunch of flowers, my dear.
In the east there is a rose, deep and red, that when she open go pop, 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 like the crack of a gun.
Belike, Mrs. Yarch. In the east it seems anything is possible.
I'll come with you, Granny.
Insolent clodhopper.
He is frigid, but the boy is not such a fool.
Marriage is not what I had in mind. However...
Here we are, Jack. At Hare Hatch.
It looks a fine place.
Yes. And one day it'll be mine. Mine and Mary Esther's.
What do you think your family will say?
But once they get acquainted with her, they will love her as much as I do.
I hope so, Dick.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Oh, Jack, it's good of you to come home with me. You have been a real chum, as Patroclus was to Achilles, and even more.
Oh, thank you, Dick.
You're my friend, Jack, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Dick.
You'll stand by me, won't you?
Yes, I will. And you know that I don't give a damn, Dick, if the world speaks well of you or ill. We were pals together on the ocean, and on land we're comrades to the end. Though a sweetheart sublime, there is always the time when it's fine to have a friend.
You will tell my mother how adorable she is, won't you?
I'll try.
Oh, of course you will. Oh, Jack, do you remember the first moment I saw her?
Shall I ever forget it?
When I first clapped eyes on Neriesta, she was sitting sucking melon in the sun. And I knew right then that Neriesta would be the only one. She may be dark brown, but heaven blessed her with the sort of charm I never hoped to see. And I found the shade of Neriesta meant not a thing to me. Though she mayn't have social graces, and her tastes are slightly queer, you won't find me changing places with the noblest English peer. For I'm more than fond of Neriesta, and I miss her every day that we're apart. From the moment when I first possessed her, Neriesta stole my heart.
When he first clapped eyes on Neriesta, she was sitting sucking melon in the sun. And I knew right then that Neriesta would be the only one. She may be dark brown, but heaven blessed her with the sort of charm I'd never hoped to see. And I found the shade of Neriesta meant not a thing to he.
Though she mayn't have social graces,
and her tastes are slightly queer,
you will find me changing places with the noblest English peer.
For he's more than fond of Neriesta, and I miss her every day that they're apart. From the moment when I first possessed her, Neriesta stole my heart.
Come, Jack, let us go and surprise my mother.
Your niece, I notice, is not dancing, Mrs. Yard.
No, just at present she prefers the swing.
Oh, she is not well?
Oh, she is well, but as we Eastern women say, she don't have the inclination.
A push, is it? Is it a push you wish for, dear child? Is that what you're after?
Oh, Celia, what are you up to?
Go away, Thoroughfare, now go away.
Stop!
Was not that divine, my dear? Didn't you like it? Oh, look, a peacock.
Ours at home are much bigger.
Are they, dear child?
Much.
I want us to be friends. Will you?
Oh, Eulalia.
Well, Elisabeth, what is
That
it?
girl, Eulalia, she's black.
Black or no, she is certainly perfectly beautiful. And she was telling me, only fancy, Lizzie, that the peacocks in her land are much bigger.
I should think they were, Eulalia. I imagine they would be.
I found her so interesting.
I've no doubt of that, Eulalia.
Oh, but where is she? Oh, she's gone.
My husband had no amorous energy whatsoever, which just suited me, of course.
Yes.
But sometimes I think I have too much, in spite of the ravages of time.
Oh, come now, Lady Parvula.
But I suppose that when there's no more room for another crow's foot, one attains a sort of peace.
Hark, Mrs. Took, to the peacock.
Oh, that's a nasty sound.
Sometimes it is nasty, and sometimes it is nice.
And what, Mrs. Yard, do you mean by that?
When I hear the cry of the peacock, then I know that something is nigh. Maybe good, maybe bad, but something's gonna happen by and by. When I hear the cry of the peacock as it echoes over the lawn, clear and shrill, something will be happening before tomorrow's dawn. How I wonder if it's going to be something wonderful and new. Can't you hear the peacock telling me as it's telling you, loud and true, that there's something making its way here, just as sure as stars in the sky. Maybe good, maybe bad, maybe joyful and maybe sad, but I know it's coming by and by. When I hear the peacock cry,
What will it be?
all I can say is wait and see.
What will it be? What will it be?
I think it's gonna happen to me.
My little Mary Esther, did you hear it too?
Yes, I heard the cry of the peacock, and I know that something is nigh.
It's all good, oh so good,
and it is gonna happen by and by.
When I heard the cry of the peacock as it echoed over the lawn,
clear and trill, something will be happening before tomorrow's dawn. I'm so certain that it's going to be something wonderful and new. Can't you hear the peacock telling me as it's telling you, loud and true, that there's something making its way here, just as sure as stars in the sky. It's so good, can be bad, makes me joyful and makes me glad, for I know it's coming by and by. When I hear that peacock
Look over there! Is it you, Dick? Dear, is it you? Oh, Dick, my life!
Dick, my darling boy.
the lovebirds are reunited. Cry.
What is she talking about?
Leary Esther, my love. Leary Esther.
Oh, Captain Dick. Oh, Allah ilala. You are going to be a parent. Little girl, baby, sleep while you can. The time is coming, and it don't come slow, when you'll grow bigger, and before you know, you wondering where your husband has gone. Sleep well, sleep tight, whether it is day or night. Sleep sound, sleep good. The time is coming when you'll wish you could. Little girl, baby, soon you'll be grown. So sleep on now until the morning break. The time will come when you'll be kept awake by a little girl, baby, of your
Can you turn your face a shade towards me, Mrs. Thoroughfare? Do you perhaps know her native tongue, Lieutenant Horwood?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Ushiawabi Suinya.
Vishnu. Not, I fear, one of my most amenable models. But then Mrs. Hurst-Pierpoint, in her present mood, is not to be refused.
Lay on the flesh tints, and she won't, I dare say, be dissatisfied. Oh, Lord, here comes the white, Mrs. Thoroughfare.
But, my dearest boy...
No, Mother. If Aunt Eulalia wishes it, then I shall fall in with her schemes. After all, I am her heir. And how goes the portrait, Sir Victor?
Tolerably well, Captain. In fact, it needs only a few more touches.
I'm tired of standing still.
Still, indeed, the way she handles that Apollo.
Then we shall go for a stroll, dearest Neri. Forgive me, sir, but my wife is restless at the thought of our wedding tomorrow.
Oh, I quite understand.
Come, my love.
But, Dick, my dear, I must talk to you. Oh, dear, Lieutenant Horwood.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Thoroughfare. I'm afraid I'm one of those who at the last trump would comb their hair.
Ah, really? Would you? Why?
Probably because I am naturally vain.
I adore your hair, and so does Dick.
Oh? Did he say so?
My boy is very fond of you.
And I am very attached to him.
I know you are, and that is why I can talk to you about my son.
After the ceremony tomorrow, I trust you'll all at length be easy.
Their reunion, in my opinion, is nothing but nonsense. But Eulalia seems so fidgety and nervous. And with Cardinal Pereira come here from Spain specially to officiate. So we thought it best perhaps to humour her.
These black weddings are rarely en règle.
I would give the whole world willingly for the poor fellow to repudiate the affair altogether. But no, he's utterly infatuated by his wife.
Dear Mrs. Thoroughfare, it isn't my business, of course, to meddle in souls, but Father Collimani should be skilled to advise.
I've an inkling that Father very soon may be resigning his post.
Oh.
He seems quite put out by the Cardinal.
Indeed.
Such a pity. None of the chaplains ever stay long. They seem to resent Eulalia hauling them out of bed at night to say midnight masses for her.
But does she?
Oh, my dear, she's merciless. Eulalia's inexorable. Don Jonquil, Père Ernest. She wore them out.
I understand, at any rate, that she projects presenting Mrs. Richard herself at one of the coming courts.
I refuse to believe that that little madcap negress was ever born a Tahitian princess.
If only she wouldn't run at one quite so much and rumple one's hair.
She is also very fond, I fear, of beetle. Yes, I fear my boy is married to a beetle chewer.
It's likely to be injurious to her baby at present.
Which?
Huh?
She says she is now expecting a second enfant. Oh, she's such a quick puss.
Did you discuss it with Mrs. Hurst?
Oh, Eulalia's so difficult, and unfortunately she isn't mealy-mouthed. Eulalia says what she thinks.
Do I, Elizabeth? In what particular connection?
Oh, Eulalia, Lieutenant Horwood and I were just discussing Neary Esther.
Ah, the dear minx. I thought she was sitting for Vat's portrait.
So she was, Eulalia, but darling Dick has taken her off for a stroll. She has so much excess energy.
I would that I could borrow some of it. I have just exhausted myself going over tomorrow's ceremony with the dear Cardinal. A wedding and 2 christenings at one and the same time need the maximum of organization.
Your chapel is even more charming than I remember it.
Thank you, Your Eminence. But it must seem a little poky after the cathedral.
How do you like our new relics, Your Eminence? I think St. Bartholomew's tooth looks a treat now that Eulalia's had it set.
It's only a molar, of course. Rather small at that.
We are used lately to big, flashing dentures.
Size is not altogether important when one is dealing with the eternity.
Dear Eminence, it is good to have you with us. I long to hear the news from over there. Tell me, Eminence, have you been in touch lately with headquarters?
Everything in Rome appears to go on much as usual.
I was told about Lady Lagarde's taking the veil.
Cynthia Lagarde. Such a gamine at one time. I remember her turning up at midnight mass in the cathedral, wearing Matador's rig.
Did you have her turned away?
Certainly not. We were all going on to the Donatianthis masquerade. I think I went to Sappho.
Oh, happy days. How I long to visit Clemenza once again.
Indeed, you must, Mrs. Hurst-Pierpoint. I know of no place on earth quite like it. Clemenza, that wonderful town. Clemenza, where the sun beats incessantly down on the heavily gilded bone of the place that I call home. Paris there is Notre Dame, and St. Peter's in Rome is fine, while St. John the Divine in New York is indubitably divine. I am fond of St. Mark's in Venice, though it's crafty when breezes blow, but the Cathedral of Clemenza is the coziest church I know. Cathedral of Barcelona has a beauty too quite non-fluff. I'm impressed by St. Paul's in London, but it doesn't belong to us. There's a charm to the Mosque of Omar, though one has to remove one's shoes. But the Cathedral of Clemenza is the church that I'd always choose. Every transept is the concept of a truly artistic mind. Each mosaic is archaic, individually designed, is rococo, confoco, with a splendor to dim the eye. It bewitches with its riches, and the altar's a mass of green lapis lazuli.
We must see it again before we die.
I have stayed at the Ritz in Paris, and my comfort was quite complete. When I stay at the Ritz in New York, I am given the bridal suite. I'm well known at the Ritz in London, it's a favorite port of call. But the Cathedral of Clemenza is the ritziest of them all. Not too big, not too small. It's the coziest church of all. Not too grand, not too mean. It's the sweetest cathedral we've ever seen. Clementa! That wonderful town. Clementa! Where the sun beats incessantly down on the heavily gilded dome of the place that I call home. Clementa!
Ole! Ole, Eulalia! And bravo, Lieutenant!
Oh, Fabiola, how good to see you. You will stay for tea.
No, I only looked in for a moment to pay my respects to His Eminence.
Eminence, you remember Lady Pavula de Parzoust. She is not one of us, but I think she might be won over.
Not I, Eulalia. Nowadays, religion of any sort is quite foreign to me. Although, of course, I still find a lot to enjoy in a really well-staged ceremonial. Where is Baby, by the way?
I think I see Mrs. Yarge approaching with her.
Ah, yes, here comes Babykin.
Ooh, it's enough to make one's stomach capsize.
And now she's sleeping like a closed-up flower.
Oh, she'll make such a cunning little Christian. Almost as cunning as her mamma.
I can't stand it. I really can't.
Oh, really, I don't know what's come over Elisabeth lately. One would have thought she'd be happy to have her son again, and a grandchild into the bargain. But she treats the whole thing like a second-rate Greek drama.
Maybe I should give her a sedative of seaweed juice. That always calms the nerves and settles the stomach.
Oh, try it if you like, Mrs. Yashnavatka, but I would recommend a bit of prayer and mortification. I would ask Sister Ecclesia to give a helping hand, but of course it's her talking day.
Was it her I heard hallooing down the drive?
Probably. Now, Mrs. Yudge, let me carry the babe for a little while. As I am to be a godmother, I had better get used to the feel of it.
Be careful you don't wake her, Mrs. Hurst, my dear. She has a yell like the Uja bird in labour.
Let us go to the house for tea, Eminence. I have instructed cook to prepare your favourite herring sandwiches.
Thank you, dear lady. And if I might have some lapsang with a drop of Hollands in it?
Hollands gin for the spleen is what I always recommend.
And you, Pavula?
No, thank you, Eulalia. I have ordered a la carte at the Strangers' Hotel, and their dinner hours are barbarous.
Well, we shall see you tomorrow at the ceremony. Lieutenant?
I think I'll take a stroll after Dick. And Mary, I've seen so little of the Valmouth countryside.
Oh, you should. The autumn tints on Spadder Tor are supposed to be quite heart-rending.
Oh.
Come, Eminence.
After you, dear lady.
Oh, thank goodness we're alone, Mrs. Yarge. It was, of course, you whom I came to see. I'm making my final bid.
Final, my lady?
Yes. Although I fear he must be cold, or else he's decadent. For I have known men, Mrs. Yashnavatka, yes, and many men, too, who have found us little women the most engrossing things in life.
He is inhuman, my lady, and that is sure.
Oh, I want to spank the white walls of his cottage.
I obtain you all you desire. Only give me time.
I have no more time to spare. The Valmouth season is practically over, and I shall have to return to London unfulfilled.
Well, what do you wish me to do?
I overheard his grandmother sending him up here with some fowls for tomorrow's banquet. He will be arriving at any moment. Go down to the gate and tell him to walk up this way, and I shall be waiting.
Very well, my lady, and may Funa smile on you.
Funa?
That is how we Eastern ladies refer to Venus.
I know I should despise myself, but I don't. Such perfect cant, though, with 4 honeymoons in the hotel, to be forced to take to the fields. Oh, Harry. Oh, Harry. Are you gazing down from heaven on little me? And are you simply horrified by what you see? Please don't be, dear Harry, for you left your little wifey all alone to lead her lifey, and she's doing it the only way she knows. Would you like me to explain to you? Here goes. There was the gardener at the Towers, and he had a way with me as well as flowers, but it was only a passing phase, because I lighted on his brother, who had come to do some plumbing job or other, but it was only a passing phase. For at the weekend I went shooting, and it broke the plumber's spell, because I bagged a brace of pheasant and a beater as well. But then he beat me where it hurt me, and I felt my order suddenly desert me, and I remained completely chased for several days. But it was only a passing phase. One of our footmen, as they oft do, looked so handsome with his livery on and off too. But it was only a passing phase, because the chauffeur, so endearing, drove me far but had some trouble with his steering. So that was only a passing phase. And don't forget him, I went yachting, and the trip I just adored. For though I spent the time between decks, I went right overboard. But sailors can be rather wearing, and the stoker, I recall, was quite unsparing. So I resolved to take the veil and change my ways. But it was only a very transitory, evanescent, insubstantial, quite unpleasant passing phase. It's over now. Oh, there he is.
Oh, you is it?
Yes, it is I. Don't they say good afternoon in this part of the country?
Good afternoon.
Don't go. Won't you tell me about your flocks?
I have to deliver these fowls at the house.
They can wait, surely. After all, they are dead. Whereas we, dear fellow, are very much alive.
Now, don't he come near me.
Why? Do you have the flu?
You know what I mean. I told Mrs. Yarge I didn't want no part of it.
I knew you did, and it was very forward of you.
You know, there's forward and forward.
Meaning what?
You should be a respectable widow woman.
Instead of which I am.
I don't know what you are.
Why don't you find out? It might be quite an agreeable surprise.
I've enough to do without being surprised.
Country logic.
Well, if this is how they behave London way...
Oh, you great big pastoral boy.
Now then, missus.
Oh, you might at least lay aside the carcasses. They do detract so from the ardour of the moment.
Why don't he leave me be?
Because I don't wish to. Ah, those great gilt freckles.
I'll offer help.
Much better submit.
I won't, I say.
I say you will.
Someone's coming.
Quick, into the chapel before they see us.
But...
In, I say. In.
I thought I saw some struggling figures, but there seems to be no one. I'm sorry, Father. You were saying?
That you must have faith, my child. All may not be lost.
But tomorrow is almost upon us, and Eulalia is quite determined. She has arranged everything down to the last altar candle. What can interfere with it now?
Without a priest?
But she has the cardinal. I must say I thought His Eminence would raise some objection, but he seems to be enjoying the whole Saturnalia himself.
Cardinal Pirelli has strange tendencies.
Tendencies, Father?
There are rumours, strong rumours from Clemenza, reports even from Rome.
Reports? Of what?
Ecclesiastical misdemeanours, extramural escapades, and the disgraceful affair of the Duchesa de Nazianzi's dog.
What did the dog do?
It was christened in the cathedral.
Father!
Christened Clapsy by the cardinal.
But this means...
Yes, my child, but at the moment I am powerless.
But we must do something. We must do something. Oh, my darling Dick, my doctor.
No. Calm yourself, Mrs. Thorough. Let us go into the chapel and pray for guidance.
Oh, yes. Yes. Let us go.
What is it?
Sacrilege. Blasphemy. Chickens, Father, chickens.
Chickens?
Yes, in the font.
Good day to you, Father. Good day.
Lady de Panzoost.
Pavula. Feathers. Chicken feathers.
Tell Eulalia. Tell Eulalia that her pew cushions badly need restuffing.
No, Neri, not now.
Why not?
Because it's tea time.
In the East, we don't care what time it is.
I know, but this is England. And anyway, someone might observe us.
I like love out of doors. That big old bedded hair hatch frightens me.
Oh, don't say that, my darling. Hare Hatch is our home.
No.
Oh, but Neri.
I'm tired of Hare Hatch. I'm tired of Valmouth.
Neri.
I want the sun. The joy. The heat. Where the trees are green with parrots and the custard apples grow, that is the place that I call home. That's where I want to go. Where the golden toad sits dreaming underneath the orchid tree, that is the place that I call home. That's where I want to be. Where the scent of the frangipani flows to sea where the breezes blow, and at night there's the plop as the mangoes drop from the branches where the fireflies glow, where the coral spreads its flowers in a sea that's greeny blue. That is the place that I call home. That's where I want to be with you. Say we go there. Say we will go home.
Well, perhaps, if you're a good girl, one day. But we must go through with the ceremony tomorrow. My aunt expects it.
But we is already married.
Not in the eyes of the church. Oh, please, Neri, for my sake.
Oh, all right. But I do it for you, not for that old cardinal.
Oh, but Neri! Neri! Neri!
loved you, Dick. I asked for nothing better, dear, than to be the wool of your vest. I'd have blacked myself for you, Dick, all over, every day. But you never told me your tastes. But everything's useless now. For very soon, Dick, I'll be dead.
I loved a man and he sailed away. He sailed away on the ocean main, and here I wait till he comes again.
The river's cold now, so deep. I suppose the tide will bear me out to sea. I'm so lightsome, so slim, much better figure than hers.
Oh, bread and butter, outhouse, silk stocking, gorgon, silver, arpeggio, flat feet, veranda silk, important, long yellow hair. 3 weeks next Wednesday, 1/1/97, Hands of Marriage, Hartlepool, Mrs. Holmes, paraphernalia, catastrophe, appendicitis, encyclopedia. Stop! Cease, desist!
I won't! Go away! I'm going to jump!
Wicked, ghastly, tragic, illegal, fatal, monstrous, lamentable.
Leave me be!
You mustn't, you shan't, you won't, you can't!
I can and I will!
Help, aid, assistance, succour! What's the matter, sister? She wants to kill herself.
Yes, I do, and I'm going to.
But it's so wonderful to be alive, exist, breathe.
Aren't you supposed to be under a vow of silence?
Yes. But today is my talking day. I can speak. I can utter. I can scream. I can mutter. I can say everything I want to say. And there's no one to say me nay. For today is my talking day. I can rant. I can chatter. I can shriek. What's it matter? I can bark. I can bellow. I can bay. Not a soul has to say I may. For today is my talking day. Words, 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 waiting for me to speak. Words, 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 how I wish I knew Greek. I can bawl, I can babble, I can gush, I can gabble, I can moo, I can yodel, I can day. Tomorrow my lips will be sealed again. My heart will be cold and congealed again. But till then, raise the roof and shout hooray! For today is my talking day! I can yell, I can yammer, I can sing, I can stammer, I can squawk, I can chirrup, I can pray! And I'll do so without delay! For today is my talking day! I can joke, I can jabber, I can belch, I can blabber, I can preach, I can prattle, I can pray! Till the sun sheds its dying ray! For today is my talking day! Words, 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 echoing through the air. Words, 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 and I might even swear. I can groan, I can grumble, I can mew, I can mumble, I can make any sound you care to say. Tomorrow my lips will be dumb again. My heart will be silent and numb again. But till then, raise the roof and shout hooray! For today is my talking day! So, you see, there's always something to live for.
She is right, you know.
Take her away, Lieutenant. She's young, beautiful, fresh, pretty, desirable, virginal.
I'm not.
High-spirited, amorous, adorable.
Come, Miss Duke. I'll take you home.
Oh, very well. But I'll do it tomorrow instead. You wait.
Tomorrow is the wedding. Why don't you come with me?
When you? Well...
Love, passion, courtship, wooing, darling, sweetheart.
Oh, shall we go?
Tomorrow my lips will be sealed again. My heart will be cold and congealed again. But till then, raise the roof and shout hooray! For today is my talking whist-drive, cornucopias, cleaning, chameleon, going to know stuff, brand, feather dust, and lovely fine laws. Well, I never.
This is the day that my little Neary, my princess, my Neary fairy becomes Mrs. Captain Dick Thoroughfare. Oh, Allah ilaha.
Is that you, Mrs. Yarge?
Why, Mrs. Took, have you come to attend the wedding?
Yes, Mrs. Yarge. At least she's having a Christian wedding.
Oh, that's just to please Mrs. Hurst. They are already married in the East.
Pah, a native wedding.
It is so simple, so beautiful. Oh, all that happened is that each lays a hand on the torso of the beloved.
Fie for shame, Mrs. Yarge.
But what need is there for more? Oh, dear, it shocked me that Neary should renounce Allah for the Nazarene.
Yes, I'm a decent widow, Mrs. Yarge. You are a wicked woman.
Oh, me wicked? Now that is a libel.
Libel or not, things haven't been the same since you come to Valmouth.
Don't fret yourself, Mrs. Took. Once I see my Neary settled at Hare, I shall leave this place. Valmouth is beginning to give me the ennui.
You'll be going back home.
Oh, I don't know. I shall just sail away down the river.
Down the river? Well, though I shouldn't say so, I'll miss you, Mrs. Yarge. With the winter coming, my joints will be all tied up in knots, and I doubt if I'll see another spring.
Why, Mrs. Took, my dear, you talk nothing but nonsense.
I never came to see your blossoming acacia tree.
Its leaves are falling now as summer ends, but nevertheless, we've had some good time.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Yarge, it's true we did.
And taking it all in all, I'd like to feel we're friends. And when I think of Valmouth, I won't miss those skies of grey that seem to happen every day. I like a sky that's permanently blue, but I will miss you, Mrs. Took. Yes, I will, Mrs. Took, miss you. And I won't miss the frightful bore of English Sundays, and what's more, I'll never miss the foggy, foggy dew. But I will miss you, Mrs. Took. Yes, I will, Mrs. Took, miss you. Although we had our quarrels, they mattered not a pin. We may have different morals, but we're sisters under the skin.
That's right, Mrs. Yarge.
And when I reach that tropic isle, as evening falls, I'll sit and smile to think of all that's passed between us two. And I will miss you, Mrs. Took.
And I will, Mrs. Yarge, miss you.
And I will miss you, Mrs. Took. I will miss you.
Life will go on much the same as life went on before you came. I'll do the things I always used to do. But I will miss you, Mrs. Yard. Yes, I will, Mrs. Yard, miss you. And though we're friends, I must confess, I can't abide the way you dress. Those even things you says upsets me too. But I will miss you, Mrs. Yard. Yes, I will, Mrs. Yard, miss you. You've turned us topsy-turvy with all those things you've done. It's left me kind of nervy, but I must admit it was fun. And when the winter brings the snow, I'll sit and watch the cinders glow and think of all that's past between us two. And I will miss you, Mrs. Yard. And I will, Mrs. Took, miss you. And I will miss you, Mrs. Yard. I will miss you. We must keep in touch.
Oh, there you are, Mrs. Yashnavalia. Your niece has been calling for you to help her dress. She refuses to let Fowler touch her.
Oh, she is unaccustomed to clothes, Mrs. Thoroughfare, my dear.
I can well believe it. How good of you to come, Mrs. Took. Under the circumstances, I mean. Has your granddaughter quite recovered?
Oh, she's a brawny girl, and in any case, she barely wet her toes.
So bitter, Lady Saunter, how nice to see you. At a time like this, one needs one's friends around one.
Oh, you can be sure that we wouldn't miss it for well.
I can't think what is delaying you, Lelia.
Should we go into the chapel? It looks as if it might rain.
Oh, dear. A storm, do you think? The wrath of the Almighty. Oh!
Tell me, Elisabeth, will I do?
You, Lelia. I never saw anything like you.
I hope the dear Cardinal won't tell me that I'm unorthodox, or do you think he will?
Take it off, Eulalia.
I shall not,
Take
Elizabeth.
it off.
No.
But why should you conceal yourself behind that odious black mask?
I wear it, dear, only because a white face seems to frighten baby.
You're beyond anything, Eulalia. And are those wings really necessary?
Oh, it's a splendid
there, dear Richard. Let us hope the bride will soon join us. And we mustn't keep her standing about. There's quite a chill in the air.
And those clouds.
I had such a cold on my honeymoon, I remember. I never really ceased sneezing. Ah, there's dear Parvula, looking ravishing. Parvula, you look delightful.
Eulalia, it's you, is it? I confess that I hardly recognize you.
That hat is a triumph. Where did you get it, Parvula?
Vivi Vanderstart. Her boast is she makes only hats for happy women.
Oh. Good day, my lady.
Listen to that. When the peacocks cry, I always get a feeling of foreboding.
Oh, Allah, Ilaha, the bride, she approaches.
Eulalia, I appeal to you. Let us stop the ceremony now, before it's too late.
Nonsense, Elizabeth.
Oh, if only I knew where to find Father Collins.
Hush, Elizabeth. Here they come. Ah, les oiseaux amoureux, chers oiseaux, paradise uccellinis, delicious vogels.
Ooh, my darling son.
Hush, mother.
Connie, have you taken leave of your senses?
The wedding cannot proceed.
Glory be to God. Of course the wedding can proceed. Forgive us, Eminence.
My dear child, put your
If he
faith in
sets
me.
foot inside Nuestra Senora, it will be desecrated forever.
What?
I have here in my hand a deed of excommunication signed by the Holy Father in Rome. Cardinal Pirelli, your sins have found you out. You are excommunicated.
It can't be true, it can't be. Eminence!
For the sin of blasphemy, for the sin of impurity, for the sin of mockery, for the sin of dressing up in disguise, for the sin of reading and writing sacrilegious literature, for the sin of christening a dog. The Holy Church casts you out.
Almighty! Oh, Allah ilaha! Oh, Kismet! No, give me my baby!
She is flying, Captain Dick. She is flying away like a little white bird.
Dick, my darling boy! Dick! Now you come back to me!
What did he buy?
The river is rising!
Neri Esther! Come back! Neri Esther, where are you?
Dick, come back! Come back to here!
But I must find her.
It's the best thing, my darling Dick. It was never right.
Let me go, Mother! I must find her!
Dick!
Mrs. Thoroughfare, you must take shelter.
As far as I can see, it's everyone for himself.
If only we could find a cab!
All I want is the first train to London.
No, we must hurry.
It's the end of it all. It's the end of everything. Don't say that, Mrs. Took. Valmouth isn't the only place on earth. And that's for me.
Come, Granny.
Why don't you come to London? You could be my chauffeur.
I'm a shepherd.
No, bother your sheep.
Come, Granny. We must get home. Come on now.
All right. Well, that's that. But at least it livened up my holiday.
Go back to the house, Mrs. Thoroughfare.
Yes. Come, Elizabeth. Back to Hare. Eulalia is all alone there.
Merciful heaven! It's like doomsday!
I'm much afraid, Elizabeth, that time has caught up with us at last. Look! It's Hare! Hare has been struck by lightning!
Eulalia! My dear friend!
Oh, dearie me. The troubles that Mrs. Bajocti suffers from her embonpoint. Why, Neri Esther has been crying again.
I cry for little Richard. Little Richard with no papa.
Children without a papa on this island are quite commonplace, my dear. However, I shall find you a new husband. Soon there will come another ship into the harbour, and this time, little Neri, perhaps you will find an admiral.
An admiral?
Yes, and then you will go and live in a fine house in London. Cry.
Oh, but I wanted to be the princess of the palace of Harehatch.
Harehatch. Harehatch is nothing but a pile of ashes. Allah sent the fire from heaven and destroyed it, poof, in a flash of lightning.
Then we shall never see it again.
No, my child, it is all gone. And Valmouth, too, gone like a dream. It was the will of Allah.
But I shall remember it.
Yes, and I shall remember it too. It was a pleasant place to spend a season, or as we Eastern ladies say, to pass the time.
Little Richard, sleep.
Sleep good, little boy baby. Sleep tight. Yes, it is all gone. Sometimes I think, oh, the pity of it. In Valmouth I had such an extensive clientele, all the best ladies of the county. Mrs. Yage, they would say to me, you must have magic in your fingers. Yes, my dear, I would reply, that is exactly what I do have. Oh, they will miss me, those old ladies of Valmouth. They will miss their Mrs. Yage. But perhaps they are dead, or perhaps they are living somewhere else. Who knows? Still, I would like to take a trip to England sometime when I have found you a new husband.
Where would you go?
Oh, I don't know. Bournemouth is nice, and then there is Weymouth or Exmouth, or even Portsmouth. But none of them can ever compare with Valmouth.
There's nowhere to compare with the air of Valmouth. There's no light that's as bright as the
Nearly Esther,
come back. If only she wouldn't run at one so much and rumple one's hair.
So lightsome, so slim, much better figure than hers.
Ah, you're a simple one.
Why, Elizabeth, tonight you look positively jeune.
I always say that there is no joy like the coolness of a white dress after the sweetness of confession.
Fine, thoroughfare.
Size is not altogether important when one is dealing with the eternities.
I'm making a bow path. That's a posy, Mrs. Yard.
Blunt-headed booby, to Valmouth, by way of Fleet.
In Valmouth by Sandy Wilson, based on the novel by Ronald Firbank, Elisabeth Welch played Mrs. Yajna Valkia, Fenella Fielding, Lady Pavela de Prinzust, Doris Hare, Granny Took, Elaine Delmar, Neri Esther, Maxine Audley, Mrs. Hurstpierpoint. Cardinal Pirelli was played by Aubrey Woods, Mrs. Thoroughfare, Betty Hardy, Thetis Took, Patsy Rowlands, Sir Victor Vatt, Donald Scott, Sister Ecclesia, Marcia Ashton, David Took, Stephen Pacey, Captain Dick Thoroughfare, John Rye, Lieutenant Jack Horwood, Michael Deacon, Father Colin Marney, Gordon Whiting, Fines, Michael Derbyshire, Knit, Ian Charleson, Fowler, Celia Helda, Carey, Hilary Paterson, Madame Mimosa, Marcia Owen. Book, music and lyrics were by Sandy Wilson, music arranged and conducted by Richard Holmes, technical presentation by Gordon Bowen, technical assistance by John Whitehall, Carol McShane, Jane Brinsmead and Peter Novis, adapted for radio and produced by Glyn Dearman.
And that programme was first broadcast in 1975.